Ah, smart water. Pure, crisp taste.
That's really good water.
It's the kind of water that says, I have my life together.
I do feel more sophisticated.
Smart water. For those with a taste for taste. Grab yours today.
Get lost in the acoustic brilliance of 3D audio that surrounds you. Feel the embrace of the massage seats that adapt to your every move. Experience the warmth of a vehicle that welcomes you as you approach. We could tell you what makes a Lincoln SUV so extraordinary, but don't take our word for it. Take it on a test drive at the Lincoln Summer Invitation with exclusive offers on now, only at your local Lincoln retailer.
Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs, but luckily there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku, and it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
The Roses were living the dream.
To you, my darling.
No, to you.
Until it all came crashing down.
You got fired. Fired?
On August 29th, stop.
You stop!
And see The Roses. Rated R. In theaters everywhere, August 29th.
Drink it in, man. Loyal, diehard, Detroit Koolaid drinkers. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Okri, coming at you, the host of the show, with another one of those Detroit Koolaid packets on a Friday. Shorter show. Gonna have takes, opinions, get up out of here in 20 minutes or less. I promised you guys on Wednesday on the flagship that I was going to come on Friday and talk about free agents that are available and bubble players. Now, I got to admit, the day kind of got away from me here, so it's super late. I didn't get to make the best list. I don't have a ton of time, but I'm going to knock this out, and I hope you enjoy it. We'll see how it goes. Appreciate all the loyal, diehard listeners to this show, and everybody that's repping the show, sharing the show, retweeting the show, all that good stuff. So I don't have time to mess around. I don't know how I'm going to get into all this that I scribbled down in time, but I'm going to do it. So when I'm looking at free agents, I mean, you're going down the list. You got some big names at the top. You got a bunch of bowling alley candidates at the bottom. In the middle, you got a bunch of bunch of guys that like used to be good or had potential or you hoped would be good or are hurt or are old. You know, it's a whole bunch of that. So like when I started looking at it, again, you know, these are going to be some of the Okri favorites. And we're talking about my boy, Christian Wilkins at the top of the list. I'm still surprised he's unsigned. I'm kind of surprised that he doesn't get, give somebody a crazy double clearance discount since he's already getting PIZ-aid. It doesn't matter. I know he's got the foot injury, so that's probably a concern. But I love his talent. I still think he's got 2, 3, 4 good years left in him. A penetrating defensive tackle. I would love to see the Lions get a guy like this, stash him away. I know it's not the popular thing either, just because it's a big name and all the draft nicks and all the nerds out there will tell you all these people you never heard of that they'd bring in because they got grit or because they know. Come on, man. Christian Wilkins is a talented player. He's got a good personality. He's been productive in this league. He's at a position of need. And he probably wouldn't cost you barely a penny because he's getting $27 million plus for the next however many years from the Las Vegas Raiders. You know, going down the list, I got to bring up my boy Matthew Judon from Grand Valley State University here in the state of Michigan. A very productive pro. Yes, he's older. Yes, the last little bit he hasn't had as much production. Yeah, if he came to Detroit, he couldn't wear those bright red sleeves that we're all used to. But Matthew Judon gets after the quarterback. As long as he came here with a good attitude and was like, hey, I'm going to kind of mix in with Marcus Fattenport, as well as some of our other young edge rushers, interior type players. I think he's a nice 2-3 tier type edge rusher that give you a little bit of something when you got to get after the quarterback. And God knows we need to be able to do that, even though Aiden Hutchinson is back doing what he does. Unleash that man.
Unleash Hutch.
Dan Campbell, what do you think?
Unleash Hutch. I'm ready to unleash Hutch.
Yeah, I agree. So I wouldn't mind that as a depth signing. You guys have heard me talk about my boy Z Smith with 18 Fs. I mean, he fits. It sounds stupid to say, but all that stuff that came out on social media about him breaking up with Cash Doll and them going back and forth, like, I think that does matter. I don't know that my man wants to come back here and be in the same area code if she's around, or if he does, is his mind going to be somewhere other than football? That's got me a little bit concerned, I'm not going to lie. This next one I love so much, and it hasn't been talked about, and we haven't spent much time on the show talking about. You got Kerbo, you got, that other guy, number 32, my boy, Brian Branch, at safety. But who do you got behind him? A bunch of tryhards, a bunch of hope, a bunch of potential, a bunch of maybes. Could we go out and get my guy, Justin Simmons, for a 1-year deal at a nice price? Veteran, makes plays, tough, physical, good ball hawk. I love Justin Simmons, so I'd love a little depth at the safety position, another nice vet, another guy that can fill in if you get an injury, rather than having to rely on unproven, undrafted rookies or guys that the Lions think are good and the rest of the NFL doesn't want. So, gosh, Justin Simmons would be a nice little ad at the end of camp, towards the end of camp, if they could do it. So then
Choice Hotels get you more for your money so you can maximize any road trip. Let's get real close to hear the maximum sizzle of Comfort Inn's free hot breakfast. Maximized. Check into more. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Next guy on my list. Hey, everybody, this is a familiar name. You guys are going to love this one. Let's bring back E-Man. Let's bring back Emmanuel Mosley for the 4th time. I think that would be just an absolute tremendous signing, don't you? All right, that's enough of you guys laughing out there. But seriously, like, how many times do we bring back Emmanuel Mosley? How many times are we told how good he was going to be? How many times did the fans be like, man, I kind of like this player if he could ever just get healthy? Blows out his knee, tears his Achilles, whatever he did. I mean, I think it's a perfect time to presume that Emmanuel Mosley is healthy and bring him back. No, I'm just kidding. Here's another nice vet that I think would be sneaky. Nobody's talking about it because everybody loves Isaac Tesla, as well as Amon Ra, as well as hashtag JMOFast. We've just been toasting Miami corners and just looks absolutely incredible. But if you got an injury or you want to add a little depth or you think this was an upgrade from Tim Patrick or you wanted to add even a guy behind that, what about Tyler Boyd? He feels like a poor man's Marvin Jones-ish back in the day type of player. Smart, savvy, probably got a year or two left. Bring him here on a 1-year prove-it-nothing deal. Have him as wide receiver insurance. I know we love Raymond Khalif Raymond. I know that people are all about the Rook. You know, there's some Tim Patrick stands out there that think this guy's absolutely incredible, but I still like Tyler Boyd for a year or so. In a pinch, if an injury happens, dial him up. Isaiah Wynn was a guy I wrote down. I always liked him. I think he started out, got drafted by the Patriots to play inside, then he kicked out to tackle. He's been kind of all over the map. Went to, I think, Miami, and then had injuries and got cut. And I just think the Lions are pretty thin when it comes to that swing tackle, that guy that can play if an injury comes. So if you could add a guy like Isaiah Wynn with his talent, smart guy, if he's healthy, that'd be something I consider. What about this for a nice free agent name that's out there? We have injuries with Terrion Arnold. DJ, that's my DJ Reed, seems to be doing this thing, saying everything right. Everybody loves Amik because he's from dirt, you know what I'm saying? But what about Asante Samuel Jr.? But he's never really been that good. He's always hurt. Dude's talented, man. I loved his dad as a player. Asante Samuel Jr. has never lived up to the potential, the upside, whatever you want to call it. Probably doesn't have very good stats. Has been hurt quite a bit. But if he was healthy, can I stash him as my 4th, 5th corner? Maybe play some inside, play some outside. I like the player and the pedigree for a guy like that. What about this name? Shout out to Brad, always over Business Homes, who I think drafted or found this guy maybe late or undrafted back when he was in L.A. John Johnson, another depth safety if you don't get my boy Simmons or if some of the young cats don't work out. Like, he went to Cleveland, was good, and then he's had injuries. Imagine that. I keep bringing that up on this list. But John Johnson's a nice little depth add if you think he's got a little bit in the tank, as well as a guy that these guys know and they probably like his mentality. And then the last name I wrote down, because as I'm just scrolling the list, yes, I could bring up 20 other people, or I could bring up 0 because they probably won't add any of these guys and they probably don't really matter at the end of the day anyway. But here's a name none of you guys are ever talked about, no. And that's my guy, Jesse Luketa. Linebacker out of Penn State. Went to Arizona, bounced around a little bit. Kind of seems to be not on a roster at this point. Jesse Luketa's a beast. He's a physical monster. Great dude. Hard worker. Physical player. Tough guy. I mean, I know we're pretty much set at linebacker, but Jesse Luketa on special teams, depth linebacker, just fits the grit mentality. Like, I love Jesse Luketa, always have since he got in the league. So there's your Oakery rapid fire 10 minutes or less free agent names that somewhat intrigue me, might help the Lions. You could add them for nothing, maybe you add them and they help you this year or next year type of players. Let's move without hesitating to my bubble players to talk about. Now, when I look at these bubble guys, you heard me. If you didn't hear me, you need to go back to the flagship show on Wednesday, or maybe it was a week ago when I talked about guys like, is Hendon Hooker going to make this roster? Everybody knows that's my guy. Everybody knows, my co-host, Chops in the D, was a fan of him too, and then he wrote him off, and then I defended him, and then he went out and put the ball on the ground, didn't look like he cared, got yanked, and then I had to somewhat bail on him as well. But I'm hoping Hendon Hooker can make it. I talked about, does Sione Vaki make this team? He feels like the coaches are getting a little frustrated. He's never healthy, never has made plays, not a gadget player, he's a great special teamer. Wow, congratulations. We can go find them at the bowling alley. So is he going to give them enough to keep a 4th round pick in year 2? TBD, if you ask me, but we'll see. I hope he plays well.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Got a car to sell but no time to waste? Hop on to Carvana.com to get a real offer for your car in seconds. All you have to do is enter your license plate, answer a few quick questions, and if you accept the offer, Carvana will pay you as soon as you hand the keys over. They even offer same-day pickup in many cities. Save your time, score some cash, and sell your car the convenient way to Carvana. Pickup times vary. Fees may apply.
Hank's the family fixer, always with his tool belt. But living with prostate cancer, he needed help. He asked his doctor about Xtandi and enzalutamide. Xtandi 40 milligram tablets treats men with prostate cancer that has spread to other parts of the body and responds to a medical or surgical treatment to lower testosterone. Xtandi may cause serious side effects: seizure, a brain condition called PRESS, allergic reactions, heart disease that can lead to death, falls and bone fractures, swallowing problems, or choking that can lead to death. Stop Xtandi and get medical help at once if your face, tongue, lip, or throat start swelling. Tell your doctor at once if you faint, have a seizure, quickly worsening headache, decreased alertness, confusion, vision problems, chest pain or discomfort, or shortness of breath. Xtandi can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during and 3 months after Xtandi. Common side effects include muscle and joint pain, feeling unusually tired, hot flashes, constipation, less appetite, diarrhea, high blood pressure, bleeding, falls, fractures, and headache. Talk to your doctor and visit Xtandi.com.
And then I talked about Broderick Martin, a guy who was quoted by the Doc Macaroon on Detroit Sports Podcast, which I think he asked for an interview with Broderick Martin, and he said no, and then he said okay, and then Doc asked him about was he going to make the team, and he says, I don't give an S about that. I'm just doing my best, or whatever he said, it'll all work out, God's got him, that type of thing. But Broderick Martin is a guy that, how long does it have to go where the coaches don't play him? He doesn't get snaps. He doesn't make plays. He doesn't show up on tape to where you're just like, dude, I don't think you can play at this level. And I thought he was a nasty mentality. I didn't really love his tape. He played high. They gave up a ton to get him. He wasn't my favorite, but you read, oh, he's the poor man's Jordan Davis. He's going to be a run stuffer. He's got upside as a pass rusher. We're in like year 3 and done a damn thing. So Broderick Martin, if they keep him and think they can still develop, okay, I suppose. But he feels like a player that, dude, 3 years and you can't even get off the inactive list. It's probably time to cut bait. But I already talked about those guys. Go back and listen. There's a few extra takes for you. The guys I want to hit on today are other names that might be on the bubble. Some people love them. Some guys are like, they're asking The Rock who he is, and he's saying this.
Who is this Rudy Poo?
I mean, some people know these guys, some people don't. We'll see if they make the team. But before I get to even some of the underrated guys, I'm going to spend a couple minutes on a guy you guys all know. And his name is Gio Manu. And I don't know what to think, man. You see this guy, and he looks like just a, in shorts and a t-shirt, like the physical specimen monster that you would just draw up. You would just put it in the AI machine if you wanted to see what a left tackle looked like. But he gets beat a ton in practice. He didn't do anything last year. He hasn't made quantum leaps. There's little reports saying, oh, he's a little bit better, and Taylor Decker's taking him under his wing, and, he had a nice rep or two. But I'm here to tell you, this is not a roster where you're just stashing multiple hopeful projects that aren't going to help you this year or if you need them. And Manu's falling into that category. So for me, he's a guy you keep. He's sort of like let's give him a little more time. But if he's really just not doing it and they don't see it, he might be like a guy they try to sneak through waivers, get to the practice squad. I don't know, but I know a lot of you out there are still loving this guy. And for me, I just try to have some of that Detroit Koolaid that he's going to make a quantum leap. He's going to be a stud. He's going to be the replacement for Taylor Decker in 2 seasons.
Drink it in, man.
I mean, when I say that and you guys drinking the Kool-Aid, I think you need a definite double-sided cornbread if we're going to believe and hope for that
Cornbread!
But we'll see if Gio not only makes this team, but can keep growing and can end up being, because, man, him and Penne on both sides for a few seasons feels really nice and sounds real nice, but seems becoming more of a pipe dream, if you ask me. The next guy on my list is a guy that I don't see a ton of value in, but Dan freaking Campbell absolutely loves this guy, so I can't see him not making the team. But it's like, do we really need Pat O'Connor on this football team? But Gray's a hard worker. He's great in practice. Hey, he's going to definitely make it. Like, Pat O'Connor was like drafted out of Eastern like 7 years ago and bounced around the league, and then he comes to the Lions and people are acting like this guy's an gotta have incredible football player. Dan Campbell, I just know what he's gonna be, man. I know what he's gonna do. I know what he's gonna give me every day. Yeah, is he talented? Is he good enough to actually play meaningful defensive tackle snaps for you? I'm sure he's a great guy and a hard worker, but do we really love Pat O'Connor that much on a Super Bowl roster? I don't know. Kennelly, the safety, he's getting a lot of love, home product, people love him. Jeff Risdon, I've heard him say he just loves his athleticism, and he's going to do this, and he's going to do that. He's going to definitely make this team, and it's like, I don't know, man. This guy seems like that'd be a stretch to have him as your third or fourth safety on the depth chart on game day, but I hear good things.
Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere, nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. Goldbelly ships Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garden's famous cakes. So, if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT. That's goldbelly.com, promo code GIFT.
I even heard good things in practice. Interceptions, plays, but I'd seem to have them on the bubble just because of the two starters and a couple other places where we need other bodies that are probably better. I comboed up these next two guys. What about Pittman, who's still on this roster from Wayne State, and Nowaski, the linebacker from Saginaw Valley State University? Now, Pittman is like Kennedy, who's like Fluellen. They're just always here. But they've never made a play. They never impact the roster. So if you ask me, I'm moving on from Pittman. I'm definitely not moving on from Nowaski. I think Nowaski, if you got a couple injuries, would actually somewhat, him and Grant Stewart could show out and actually be impactful linebackers, both from a tackling and a blitzing physicality standpoint. I think Nowaski is a sleeper for me if he gets his opportunity. He's athletic, he's a hard worker, he's got speed, he's physical, he'll hit you, and I'm keeping him. He's on the bubble maybe, but he's an Oakley keep for sure. Well, what about this guy that jumped off the tape to me in the half a dozen plays I actually paid attention to in preseason? Nate Lynn. I had no idea who Nate Lynn was, what he looked like. You could put him on a milk carton as far as I'm concerned, and I would never know he was gone. Nate Lynn showed me something. He's got some twitch, some bend, some juice. I like what I saw from Nate Lynn. He's a depth DE to me that can do some things. So he's on my bubble, but I really liked what I saw in the random preseason flashes. But what else do we have after the top 2 or 3 edge rushers on this team? Not much. So he seemed like a nice flyer. Take a chance on him. My guy from Michigan, Ronnie Bell. This is a guy I didn't even really think of because I haven't seen much from him, and just assume he will be off the roster, but a smart guy, made a couple preseason plays, works hard, smart. I just said smart, but obviously smart if he comes from the greatest university in the history of the world. Has a lot of injuries built up, not a lot of juice, but kind of that savvy route runner, a guy that can give you something in a pinch, is always going to be in the right spot. That's how I view him, but I'd see him probably off this team. But a hopeful, like, you could get a Ronnie Bell on your practice squad, and I don't know, he has some silky size, he's got a little bit of twitch, he's got some like I said, savviness in the middle of the football field. That's the kind of guy I'd like to have buried on my practice squad that I never have to use, but if I do, I feel like he'd give me a little something as a depth, bottom of the roster type receiver. And then the last name I wrote down for the Oakley roster bubble list, just off the top of my head, rapid fire style here, is my guy Shane Zylstra. I'm just looking at the roster, like Sammy Biscuits, for all the Laporta supporters out there, is a little dinged up. You got Chops' boy Brock Wright, who makes like $5-6 million, whatever it is, to block people and to be a good human being. So then you got Zylstra, Horton, as your depth players. You almost have to have 3 tight ends, and I'm a Zylstra fan. Him and the flying Zylstra, bro. I feel like he's found the end zone. He catches a lot of passes, which I appreciate from a tight end more so than blocking. Yes, I know you have to have physical tight ends that can block in line. I get it. But Zylstra, Laporta, Brock Wright is a nice 3-man combo. So if you don't have any better options, which you should, and you could have went out and probably got my boy Noah Fant for very cheap instead of letting him go to the Bengals and add another weapon there, like, Zylstra's fine if there's nothing better, but I'm sure you could get an upgrade, but I doubt the Lions will because they love their guys. They keep their guys. They bring back their guys. So I'm thinking he probably makes it as your third tight end, as I assume they would keep 3.
You're tuned into Auto Intelligence, live from Auto Trader, where data, tools, and your preferences sync to make your car shopping smooth.
They're searching inventory.
Oh, yeah.
They find what you need.
They're gonna find it.
They can make a budget for your wallet to help you succeed. Pricing's precise and true.
So true.
It's smarter car shopping.
Ooh.
Just for you.
Oh, it's just for you. Ooh. Find your next ride at Autotrader.com. Powered by Auto Intelligence.
Everybody, I'm at about 20 plus minutes. You know I go long, but I feel pretty proud that I got through that free agents. I gave takes, rapid fire, opinions, thoughts, bubble players, and now I'm about to get out of here. So everybody, that's a Kool-Aid packet for your Friday, TGIF. Enjoy the weekend. I think we got Chops coming back to you on a Monday with who knows what kind of bool he'll be saying. Probably some hashtag choppy likeys. You know what he does.
Woo! Hashtag choppy likey.
Stuff like that. Probably talking about Jared Goff quite a bit. There's been a lot of tweets. I even do tweets of hashtag Goff train, talking about the original conductor, just to make Chops feel good about himself, and because I want our quarterback to be excellent this year, win an MVP, a Super Bowl, all that good stuff. But Choppy will probably have you covered for Monday. I'll get another half breather with my crazy life right now. And then we'll be back on the flagship talking Lions, another Kool-Aid packet on Friday. You know what we do, everybody. That's what I got. I'll catch you next time. Right here. I'll give you the flagship ending. Right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Take care, everybody. I'm out.
Cornbread! Cornbread!